Hello Internet! Today is Thanksgiving. Not that you'll be seeing this today, but the day that I'm recording it, it's Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, I guess, to those that celebrate. Still trying to figure out how to hold my phone with my arm and not feel like I'm dying. I am not having much of a holiday today. I was invited out to go with Lost and his family to do their Thanksgiving thing, which was really nice, and I was originally gonna go, but I got a house sitting gig for the next couple of days. I'm going to migrate away from trying to get my travel footage done from the summer, because I know that it's something that I'm not looking forward to editing, so it's making me drag my feet on getting that posted. So I might eventually get the rest of that footage out, no promises. Otherwise, I'm going to migrate on to other themes for my IRL channel. It's time to head over to the house that I'm sitting at. Now, thankfully, it's only like a 5-6 minute drive from where Lost lives, so if I happen to have forgotten anything, which I probably have, I don't have to backtrack very far in order to come back and grab something. Okay, 3 things I have to comment on now that I have arrived. Number 1, there is a house on a corner street right around the block from here that reminds me of, like, it could be a 7 Days prefab, so I thought that was kind of funny. Number 2, I like how I panicked on finger numbers there. Number 2, Michigan squirrels are a lot cuter than New Jersey squirrels. And number 3, there's a car parked out front, which could just be visiting somebody, or maybe the apartment's behind me, I don't know. But there's a car parked out front, and it made me panic and think that the people are still here, which would be fine. It just would be awkward to walk in and that they haven't left yet. But I did tell them the hour I was going to be arriving to stop in. So I highly doubt it's them, but it's the possibility of it. It's kind of freaking me out a little bit, so I have no idea if they're here or not. I don't really think they are. This dude could also be like out front of the neighbor's house and now he's driving away. So maybe he doesn't live here, but it was a possibility, and I panicked a little. Hi! Hello, sweetie. Oh, you just get right up in there, huh? Long story short, I came across some free cross-stitching supplies, and I was sorting through it the other day when I got to Lost's house the other day. That was like 2 weeks ago. So I was sorting through the supplies. Now I think this was a bag of stuff that came from my grandmother or my great-grandmother. I've tossed a few things into this bag that were my own, but some of the some of the embroidery thread in here is super vintage. Oops, I accidentally took one of Lost's bracelets. My bad. Anyway, most of this is old stuff. There's a lot of cross-stitching fabric that I can use. Now, if I had to guess, these packages themselves are probably pretty old. I wouldn't recognize any cross-stitch brands anyway, because I've never been heavily invested in it. But like the box kind of looks old. It's got that faded look. The stickers on it seem pretty old. No idea if this is going to be in focus or not. I kind of want to look up the company and see if it is actually old or not. But I wouldn't be surprised if this stuff had come from someone's grandmother who passed away or something like that. I mean, this one's listed as 79 cents, which I really don't think would be the case anymore, which is also making me think that it might be old. Now, what I thought was cute was that in these supplies there were a couple of things that somebody had started and not finished. I can't really even begin to guess what this one is supposed to be, but like this was in there. I have no idea. I'm guessing it's something wearing a Santa hat, but I don't know if it was supposed to be an animal or an elf or what. I have no idea. But the part that I found interesting was these kits that are probably definitely old. I think this stuff is just more material. There was like a collection of aged looking thread in there as well, embroidery thread. I don't know if this belonged to one of the kits or just what the person had. But here's what I'm excited to work on, and I'm hoping I can get video footage of. Is there a front picture on this one? So there's a kit in here for this. Cute little horse ornament looking thing. Carousel horse. And it has a chart on the back telling you where to put what color and whatnot if you can't really follow the visual of the picture. But it even comes with this cute little wire hanger to hang it on. A lot of these kits come with like the thread and everything else that you need. Now, whoever had this stuff before kind of started it. There's, you know, the tiniest bit of stitching done inside already. Kind of looks like they were starting on the saddle and working their way out. It won't go back in. Oh no. There's this really cute one. Jiffy Stitchery. The horse one is French Country Cross Stitch Kit, made in America. Now we know it's old. I'm gonna look up these brands later. Maybe I'll overlay some information about them. Jiffy Stitchery Mushroom Sampler Green. So this one is actually embroidery based because I recognize a lot of these embroidery stitches, but it's this really cute mushroom layout. If my camera's not picking up these images, I'll take a picture and overlay them. This one's cute because there's a cat rubbing on my knee. This one's cute because it comes with the board that it's supposed to be attached to. Now, I don't know if this board was for packaging or if it was meant to be done on here because it does have like an old adhesive on the back. Again, another hint that this thing is really old because the adhesive on it is aged and yellow and dry. I'm tempted to peel this off and do the embroidery and then reattach it back on, which might have been the purpose in the first place. This could have been really old double-sided tape, and that would be a lot easier. The only downside is that this rust mark here, it had a needle attached to the fabric when I first pulled it out, which took me a little bit of effort, but I pulled the needle out and it left this rust stain on the fabric. But it's pretty much in an area where there's constant stitching, so it'll be hidden by the time it's done. But this also came with instructions and yarn instead of embroidery thread, which oddly enough, I really like working with yarn for embroidery rather than embroidery thread itself. Yarn would probably be really nice for cross stitching too, because it fills in the area a little bit easier. And then the last kit is this Even Weave Fabrics in Country Lane brick red square. Has a free project sheet inside. I think it's a kit. It's sort of a kit. I don't know if this one came with any thread, unless that's what this was from. But it's basically a chart to do the flower that's on the front of the package. So, what I thought I would do while I was here house sitting, because I have a lot of time on my hands, is that I would attempt to do one of these kits, or all of them, depending. These would take a hefty amount of time, but I can see myself doing these over a day or two and getting them done. It's a little time consuming, but like if I had to guess, it might take me an hour or two to do this horse one. I'm kind of really excited. I want to see whether or not I can get them done right and looking cute. This stuff was free, so if I mess it up, it's not that big of a deal. And I've been wanting to get back into this anyway. I've been practicing and I made a couple of things recently that I'm gonna trim out and turn into like little hair accessories. Like these little skull bows. I need to attach something to the back of this so that the fabric doesn't fray. Like I need fray check or Mod Podge or fusible interfacing on the back of these before I can trim it out of this material. Because this material like threads. That's not the right word, it frays. The edging comes off very easily. So I need to set this somehow before I trim it out. But then they're gonna be cute little like hair pieces that I'm hoping to sell. Fingers crossed I will do one or all of these while I'm here and that they'll end up looking really cool. In all honesty, I'm more excited to do the mushroom embroidery one because I've never done embroidery quite to this level before. I've done silly samplers kind of things, just practicing embroidery because that is a newer skill set for myself. Oh, that's not it either. I actually have some old kits, I think, that were like my great-grandmother's or something. I don't know where they came from, to be honest, but I've had them for years. I might have picked them up in a thrift store. I could be making up the grandma part. Maybe I'll do these while I'm here too. This one I bought probably from a Michael's forever ago. I'm pretty sure I did. And I've never done it. So I might work on this one too. Like the whole thing's still inside. So I think I'll try and work on that one. See, I also have, I definitely bought this one myself because it's Pirates of the Caribbean. I also have this pirate ornament. The whole kit came with like, you know, this little insert that you put it in when it's done. It actually looks like I started it at one point. But, I guess I didn't get very far. I don't even know. I think that's supposed to be the mouth. I might pull these stitches out and start over too, because I'm a little bit lost right now. But it has a chart and everything, and all of the thread. And an old hair of mine. This is the thread from a project that no longer, oh no, it still has the case. The thread's just not inside of it. This dragonfly one. Now this is one of the old ones that I'm not sure where it came from. If I'm reading this sticker correctly, this was for sale April 22nd, 1996. I would have been like 6 or 7 years old. I would have been like 7. So this is definitely almost as old as I am. Anyway, it's this cute little Santa ornament, and it comes on a plastic thing so that you can trim it out and use it like on your tree. Now, whoever bought this originally did start it because, you know, as you can see, they did the little ho 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 and they started the star and the bottom of Santa's bag. But this is really cute. This even has a piece of the raffia. I think it's called raffia. Raffia. That was close. Kit contains cotton embroidery thread, 14 count brown plastic canvas, wire, raffia, needle, instructions, which are mostly all in here. The needle's probably not in here, but I've got plenty of those. $19.96, AC Moore, $3.60. This would not be that cheap anymore. And it was 50% off. I'm not gonna lie, the nerdy crafter inside me is actually kind of really excited to do these old kits. This is the kind of stuff that I like looking through Stift. This This is the kind of stuff I like looking through thrift stores to see if I can find, because they tend to be a lot cheaper since it's a thrift store, and a lot of the times it's like an old vintage one, and it like actually kind of hurts my soul to say that something from 1996 could be considered vintage. But it totally qualifies, because I think the rule for vintage is 20 years or older. There's also things in here, and I think I set them somewhere, but there's also an ornament kits in here for this rooster and this reindeer. Again, they're from 96. These stickers held up a lot better than the other sticker though. But these two things are in here. Now this one's just a picture. This one has the chart and the instructions, but they're empty. And that either means that I don't have them and somebody just kept the picture, or they're over here in this other compartment. I have one of them over there in the compartment, which is the Good Morning Sunshine, but I don't have any of the raffia that's supposed to come with it. I just have this and the chart. I don't know if I have the chart for this somewhere else and I moved it, because I wouldn't throw it away. I could have sworn I'd seen this somewhere though, so this might be somewhere else at the moment. I'm not sure. I'm a little confused, actually. It's probably just somewhere else in my supplies and I don't realize it. But I have the picture, which honestly is all I need for a cross stitch, because I can visually follow it just by following the colors in the picture. Not that big of a deal for me, honestly. Whoever did the rooster did almost the entire thing. The only thing that they didn't do, it looks like they didn't finish outlining the rooster or the star, because the star is not outlined. And everything on the rooster is outlined except for the chest here, which might be on purpose because it's black thread anyway, so outlining it isn't super important. But I can't tell from the picture whether or not it's outlined. It probably isn't. But except for the star, which I could do in 2 seconds flat, this one's done already. I still have the chart though, so I can always duplicate it later. I'll just cut it out after I outline the star. I love the way that cross stitch feels. These are some cross stitches that I started for practice. I really like this one, just saying. This one's pretty good too. The trees I don't like quite so much. I was following the example of something else and it didn't quite go as planned. Let me know if you like cross-stitching and embroidery, or if you have an interest in having me do kits like this on my channel. Let me know if you want to learn about this stuff and you don't know how to do it. You know, leave comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to see me try and find this stuff in thrift stores. I know I can find them in crafting stores. That's not a problem. I think it's a little more fun to find ones thrifting and whatnot. This one's with yarn too. I just realized that. I love working with yarn more than embroidery thread. It just looks so much cleaner by the end. Let me know. Thoughts, comments, concerns, whatever. Okay, my camera battery is charging because it was running low. I'm having a moment where I'm realizing between the picture of this dragonfly pear and the way that the print is on this mesh, I don't think it's actually a cross stitch. I think it was meant to be a needle point, which is very similar. You just make slants instead of X's. So they're very, very similar and their patterns tend to look the same, but they are slightly different. So while the battery of my camera is charging, I'm actually going to pull out all of the stitching that's on here and set the thread aside because I can actually probably salvage it. That won't be a big deal, but I'm going to pull the thread out and then attempt to do this the correct way, which I think is supposed to be needlepoint. So pulling out all the thread took longer than I thought it was going to. Not by much, but it is like 6:30 now, and as you can see, or maybe not see, because I'm not sure if the window is in frame, it is now completely dark outside. I'm going to attempt to actually do this. I looked at a quick video to remind myself the needlepoint rules, because it has been a while. Pretty basic. The only thing that makes me sad is that these plasticky mesh things are designed to be tacked down onto a wooden frame, which I don't have access to. There's a really cute cat on the floor. Ooh. What are you doing, Geronimo? This seriously looks so much better already compared to the weird cross stitch that was coming out when I was doing it wrong. It is 8 a.m. and I am not ready to be awake, and I forgot to rotate my phone. Oops. This dog, as adorable as she is, when she needs something, she needs it immediately. I don't know if it's just that she's so polite that she waited as long as she could to ask for something. This dog only ever asks to be let out into the backyard, to be fed her meal, or to like be covered with a blanket. She's not a needy dog, but if she starts whining for something, she will not stop until she gets it. And again, I don't know if it's because she's waited long enough that like she really can't wait anymore and she desperately needs it, or she's used to getting what she wants immediately, so she needs it. I can kind of hear her whining in the other room, and I don't know if it's because she can hear me talking or if she's waiting for me to cover her with a blanket. Things I learned this weekend. When it's too cold, the last thing I really want to do is walk around neighborhoods and get pretty footage, because I totally forgot to do that. And rather than admit that I forgot to do it, I'm just going to pretend like it was too cold and I didn't want to. Can't talk. My throat is very dry this morning. I learned that I don't have the patience for an extremely involved time-lapse like I was going to do with the needlepoint, nor do I really have the equipment to make it super easy on myself, because I would have preferred footage of both me from a distance doing it and an up-close of the work as it occurred. But I don't have enough cameras to do that, and I don't currently have a tripod with me, so trying to alternate back and forth was just way too obnoxious and it wasn't gonna work. The other thing I learned is that the needlepoint I was doing is either old enough to have slightly faded, which I doubt because some of the colors on there are still quite bright, but it is possible. But my other thought is that perhaps it was never very well printed to begin with, because the light purple, light blue, and the white are all nearly indistinguishable from each other on the mesh. So I spent all night Thursday and all day Friday working on that needlepoint, and it's still technically not done, but it's almost done.